The whispering shadows. Lucy had never believed in ghosts, demons, or cursed objects. Horror movies were just that, movies, fiction designed to scare. But that belief wavered the night she found the book. She was browsing a garage sale in a quiet neighborhood when she saw it, sitting alone on a dusty wooden table. The cover was black, with the title Mr. Babadook embossed in deep red. It looked just like the one from the film, but somehow older. The edges of the pages were frayed, the leather cover cracked. As she reached for it, the elderly woman behind the table spoke. "Once you let him in, he never leaves." Lucy hesitated, then forced a laugh. Creepy sales tactic. The woman only smiled. Her teeth were too white, too perfect. Lucy sat in her dimly lit apartment, the book on her lap. She poured a glass of wine, telling herself it was just a collector's item, probably a movie prop. Nothing to be afraid of. She flipped open the first page. The drawings were like she remembered. A shadowy figure with unnaturally long fingers, looming in the corners of rooms. But the words, they were different. "If you read this book, you set him free. In the dark of night, he'll watch and see. A shadow tall, with fingers thin, the Babadook will soon begin." A chill ran down her spine. Then, knock, knock, knock. Lucy froze. The sound had come from her front door. Her apartment was on the 5th floor. No one ever knocked this late. Heart pounding, she crept to the peephole. Nothing. She exhaled sharply, shaking her head. "Just my mind playing tricks," she muttered. Turning back to the couch, she felt her stomach drop. The book was open. She was sure she had closed it. The last page had changed. The ink looked fresh, like it had just been written. "You can't get rid of the Babadook." A whisper slithered through the room. A slow, croaking sound, almost like laughter. The lights flickered, the shadows stretched, and from the darkest corner of her apartment, something moved. The Babadook, 2014, was never officially banned worldwide, but it did face restrictions and controversy in certain countries due to its psychological horror, disturbing themes, and unexpected cultural impact. The film delves into deep emotional and psychological trauma, portraying a mother, Amelia, struggling with grief while raising her troubled son. As the eerie presence of the Babadook invades their home, it becomes clear that the monster is more than just a supernatural entity. It is a manifestation of unprocessed pain and mental instability. Some audiences found this portrayal too unsettling, as it blurred the lines between reality and madness in a way that deeply disturbed viewers. In regions with strict censorship, such themes were considered too distressing, leading to limited screenings or outright restrictions. Additionally, some countries have laws against horror films that depict supernatural elements in an intense or disturbing manner. Certain Middle Eastern and Asian countries, which impose heavy censorship on horror films, either restricted or refused to screen the Babadook because of its dark themes. China, for example, has a history of limiting supernatural horror films, which made distribution difficult there. The film later took an unexpected turn in pop culture when it was mistakenly categorized as an LGBTQ+ film on Netflix. This led to its adoption as a queer icon, with many interpreting the Babadook as a metaphor for suppressed identity and acceptance. In more conservative regions, this association sparked further controversy, with discussions arising about whether the film should be censored due to its newfound symbolic status. Though the Babadook was not widely banned, its mix of psychological horror, supernatural terror, and cultural redefinition made it a film that some regions found too disturbing or inappropriate. However, it remains one of the most critically acclaimed horror films of modern times, praised for its storytelling, emotional depth, and lasting impact on the genre. The Thing in the Darkness. Lucy didn't sleep that night. Even after she slammed the book shut and shoved it in a drawer, she felt it, a presence, a weight pressing down on her apartment like a thick fog. Every time she closed her eyes, she heard it. Baba, Dook, Dook, Dook. By morning, exhaustion made her question if any of it had been real. Maybe it was just a suggestion, her mind playing tricks because of the book. That was logical, right? She hadn't actually seen anything. Still, she avoided the drawer where the book lay. She went about her day as normally as she could, but a gnawing dread followed her everywhere. She kept seeing shadows move in her periphery, hearing faint knocks that no one else seemed to notice. Then as night fell, the knocking returned. Knock, knock, knock. Louder this time, more insistent. Lucy's chest tightened. She gripped the doorknob, hesitating. "Who's there?" she called. Silence. Then a voice, deep, guttural. "Wrong." Her breath hitched. The hallway light outside her door flickered. She could feel something standing there, just beyond the peephole, waiting, watching. Her apartment was quiet, too quiet. The air grew thick, pressing against her ears, muting every sound except for the blood rushing in her head. And then scratch, scratch, scratch. Something dragged its nails down the wood. Lucy stumbled back. Her heart was slamming against her ribs. She turned to run to her bedroom, but stopped. The book, it was on her bed, open. She knew she hadn't touched it. She had locked it away. Her hands trembled as she stepped closer. A new page had appeared. A drawing. It was her, in her bed, eyes wide with terror. And behind her, a shadowy figure, tall, stretching, its long fingers reaching. Lucy's breath hitched. She turned, inch by inch, and there it was. A towering silhouette in the corner of her room. Its limbs too long, its head tilted at an impossible angle, its grin unnatural, wide, stretched, endless. And from its throat a sound slithered into the air. Babadook. The lights died, Lucy screamed, but the sound was swallowed by the dark. The next morning her apartment was empty. The book was gone. The only thing left was a single scrap of paper on the floor. Scrawled in inky, trembling letters, "You can't get rid of the Babadook."